Hello everyone and welcome to what's probably the most requested reaction I've had since I uploaded the one for In the Airplane Over the Sea. Some people have waited over a year for this to happen, and if you are one of them, thank you for staying so long. Today I am finally reacting to Microphones The Glow Part 2. Based on what you have told me about it, I understand this record is acoustic driven and intimate, maybe just like In the Airplane Over the Sea. But apart from that, I don't really know that much about it. And that's exactly why we are here today, to discover for the first time and again this record. Also, this is the part where I stop talking and start listening, so remember to stay up to the end for the review, and I hope you enjoy it. Well, it is acoustic driven, but right away it has a woods feeling. It sounds very natural. I don't think it's following a specific tempo, and maybe that's what makes it sound so free. His voice is so delicate, and it blends completely with the rest of the instruments. Harmonies, my god, it's like the wind just blowing in your ear. I just love when a record is so ethereal and easy. I can close my eyes and think I am very, very far away from here. Alright, a little saturation here. There's a transition. Alright, things went louder. Whoa. I think that was an interlude. Now that's a complete change on the atmosphere. Now it also sounds a little haunting. Alright, it was a complete change on the atmosphere, but also on the theme of the songs. This is existential. It is very human and very dreadful. It's like trying to face something inevitable. You know what I'm talking about. You know, I'm just gonna let it run, in case there are more transitions. His playing is kinda sloppy right here. Again, I don't think he's following any tempo, not even a metronome. But then again, even the cover has a woods. This record, I think it's all about freedom. Oh, alright. I don't know why, but for some reason, these parts that's supposed to be louder sound quieter than the acoustic parts. I'm not messing up with the volume or anything, maybe it's just because this record itself wants to be acoustic. And if I'm being honest, even though I do enjoy these louder and faster parts, I do rather the acousticness. It's very peaceful and I really appreciate that. They just fully stopped right there. I like the name of this song already. Those lyrics. I think this is the first song which really makes me pay attention to what he's saying, not just the music. And it's a beautiful story. but still beautiful. Okay, this has been the hardest so far emotionally, but what a song. Well, that really lifted off. Some of those sounds are truly saturated, but they still preciously harmonize. These nature metaphors truly complement the overall feeling of the record. Alright, I think he's trying to emulate the changing stations on a radio. But I don't know, I just know that was another transition. I think I know now where the composers of the Life is Strange soundtrack got their inspiration from. No! That was all. And just, oh my god, just where it started to sound epic. More ambience. One drops his guitar, the other musician grabs it. It's just someone strumming chords on a guitar and a little synth as ambience, and it's absolutely perfect and fitting. Now that I hear it a little clearer, his voice kinda resembles the voice of the singer of Belle and Sebastian. They have very similar tones. And now he drops it as well. In some songs there's this little outro sound. I don't know what it is, but it sounds like an alarm or something. And well, this is a transition. But if you know what that sound is, please tell me in the comments. Probably has a meaning. Jeez, I think we are now on the ominous part of the record. That sound! Now it also resembles like the horn of a ship, of a big cruiser, but in the distance. And it's kinda ominous as well. I don't know what it is, but it's foreboding something, definitely. And we got another one, another transition. And something's coming. Jeez, we went from ominous and foreboding to mental. Now we're entering the Black Lodge here. The owls are not what they seem. And now it's simply slowly fading out. I don't know, these white noise tracks make me think a lot. And another transition. I'm back to that guitar. Okay, maybe it's just my Twin Peaks fan side talking, but that is something Laura Palmer would say. Maybe they were also inspired by Twin Peaks. I mean, this record has all of that atmosphere. It's beautiful and it's dark and ethereal. I wouldn't be surprised if they just mentioned cherry pie at some point. No, seriously, every single lyric reminds me to Laura Palmer. She was a light, you know? And that double voice is just screaming doppelganger all over it. Talking about epicness. Oh, and we also went medieval here. God, his voice is somehow hanging from a thread. It's so delicate and so thin right here. I saw your future in my sleep. Doesn't it also reminds you to some FBI agent's dream? Is it past or is it future? Okay, we're back into the beautiful harmonies, despite of the saturation. Oh, now it sounds like tango. But I appreciate this change of atmosphere so much. I was starting to suffocate with all that white noise in the background. It makes me want to dance. They are saying something that is unhearable. Oh my god, somebody's screaming! That piano has only played a single note, and yet I think it's my favorite instrument of the song because it sounds so clean and it's a little breath of fresh air within all that distortion and saturation. Oh boy, I bet that ominous sound will be right here. I would have lost that bet. Up to this point, I'm just floating. I'm as ethereal as this record. I can tell he's having fun in the studio. Actually, it doesn't even sound like he's in a studio. It sounds like he recorded this in a cabin very far away from society. To feel your mind. Whoa. I wanna be buried in snow. I like that lyric. The intros and outros of these songs are very weird sometimes. Yeah, we're building up to something. You see what I meant with the intros and outros? Absolutely unexpected. Completely unexpected again. Oh, and those drums. This is so abstract. They are truly taking you to places you never thought it was possible to be. Oh boy, that sound. I know it's right there. What the hell is that? A transition. And a beautiful chord progression. The heat from the closeness of me tilting towards the sun was storing up. Now, I I am indeed having neutral Milk Hotel vibes here, but not from In the Airplane Over the Sea, from On Avery Island. What are they even doing with the volume? And here they are again. Those fading in and fading out drums are an obvious Beatles influence. And just like that, it suddenly ends. That white noise in the background. Alright. I'm loving these harmonies. Oh, that dissonance. And right into another one.
I thought I felt your shape, but I was wrong. Really, all I felt was false and strong. I held on tight and closed my eyes. I felt your fall.
I don't think you have an idea of how much I appreciate this track right now. Just a voice and an acoustic guitar. Just that. Yes. Oh boy, I think I really needed that simplicity and that quietness. Oh, back to the distortion. Yes, judging by that instrumental, somebody might as well will start screaming. Oh! Well, obviously never mind, but the way his voice kicked in, that was so Deftones. Yeah, whispering over such heaviness like this. I got the feeling those drums will come back. Or maybe not. That sound again. That was a minute and a half of silence. And the drums did come back. That drumming, those chords. This is very In Rainbows before In Rainbows. This track, apart from the beginning, has been just white noise over a few fake fade-ins and that ominous sound. There it is again. Those background chords, that fake heartbeat, that vinyl sound. I don't think there's much left of this record in the last 10 seconds, but damn, what an experience this was. Ladies and gentlemen, The Glow Part 2. Before we move on to the review, I gotta warn you, if you like this record, you'll probably disagree with me for the next couple minutes since I've grown mixed feelings about it. A side of me embraces that natural and honest feeling that really gets into your spirit on several songs. But another part of me strongly disagrees with some of the creative decisions Phil made here. Still, I want to remind you, this is just my opinion based purely on the 5 times I've listened to this record and what I read about it. You probably have listened to Glow Part 2 more than 5 times and you understand it your way. And that's what I want you to tell me, how you see this record and most importantly, why you see it that way. So first, I'll tell you the things I didn't like about this record and save the ones I did for the end. There's a very wise expression when it comes to creating. Not just art, but pretty much anything. Less is more. Although the Glow Part 2 is very minimalistic at times, it also goes over the top on others when it probably shouldn't. The first instance that comes to my mind is the saturation and distortion on songs that seem to be acoustic, especially on I Want Wind to Blow, and I know there are no rules when creating art, but the fact that this happens creates for me an unnecessarily harsh atmosphere on songs that I was enjoying already. Let's take for example In the Aeroplane Over the Sea. There is also a lot of saturation and distortion here, but it never messes up with the songs. It complements them because it's not over the top and it doesn't kick in abruptly. If anything, it's like a continuum, which respects the sound of the other instruments. On the Glow Part 2, it doesn't happen this way, and for a record that can be so quiet, all that distortion simply makes it hard to listen at times. I understand these sudden changes could represent the wind, the fire, or the rain, because those things are freaking wild. So even if I don't enjoy the way Phil is trying to mimic them, I respect his intentions. All in all, it does sound natural. Another thing I'd like to point is that obvious Twin Peaks influence. The problem here is that at times could sound more like a tribute than an influence. This record might as well be separated into 3 sections, with tracks 1 to 7 being about Phil's love life, 8 to 13 about Phil in the Black Lodge, and then back to his love life. And this for me just disrupts the conceptual thread of the record. Not that it's conceptual per se, but for me, a great album has to follow a common thread on production, sound, and message. And here, well, yes, the production and the sound are very constant, but the overall message can fall into being unclear, especially on some instrumental tracks. And no, a song doesn't have to have lyrics to have a message, but it has to contribute to the overall thread of the record. And tracks like Something are therefore just, well, who knows? It's like he grabbed a bunch of his songs and put them together on a record without paying much attention if that was actually beneficial or not for the record. And in the long run, that makes it sound for me like he was just trying to make it longer. And talking about it, my second major issue with the Glow Part 2 is precisely how much time is left on Field. There are instances here when I simply get caught in white noise, if not nothing at all, for minutes. And as much as I do like noise and experimental rock, I have my limits. And this record kind of lures them. If you watch my videos, you know I'm a person who don't appreciate time wasted. That's why I always try to get to the point. When I evaluate it, this makes me have a bittersweet relationship with this record, because I do love some songs. Headless Horseman, for example, which is one of the most heartfelt pieces I've heard in years. And it's also one of the only songs on the record that I go back to. No white noise or anything, just a man and his guitar, intimate and straightforward. Less is more. That leads me to the final aspect of this record I believe could have been improved: the vocals. I said it once during the reaction already. Phil's voice reminds me to that of Stuart Murdoch from Belle and Sebastian. It's thin, it's delicate, and it's perfect for acoustic takes. But it kinda gets lost on the noisy ones. Perhaps he intended his voice to be another instrument, but judging by the lyrics and what I think he was trying to say, I think his vocals would have been much better if they were heard instead of blended. Now let's go to the things I did like about the Glow Part 2, and the first one is the mix. Sometimes it sounds clear, others sounds muddy, and I think this is an advantage because remember, this record is very natural. And nature isn't exactly clean, it's raw, it's animal, it's visceral, and if we think about it that way, the Glow Part 2 might as well be one of the records that better capture this feeling. Another thing I love about the Glow Part 2 is how spiritual it is. Not necessarily mystic, but it does connect you to this higher state of self-awareness, and it eases your mind in the process. On its most intimate and acoustic moments, it's just like meditation. Another thing I like about this record is how Phil made things in his absolute terms. That's why it sounds like pure freedom, because there are no boundaries here, and even if that takes away some of the cohesiveness, it is also a landmark of artistry. Overall, there are 2 main ways you can see this record. Either it's one of your favorites for how intimate, heartfelt, and immersive it is, or it bores you, confuses you, and kind of frustrates you for how many things it lacks and how many things are simply left over. And I am right in the middle of those. Despite this, I don't think it's the last time I will listen to this record because some songs stuck with me, and maybe I'm daring too much by saying this, but I have an alternative track list with the songs that for me are enough to enjoy the Glow Part 2. In case you want to check it out, I'll leave it in the description. So tell me, what do you think about the Glow Part 2? Is it one of your favorites? You have mixed feelings about it? Never got into it? I'd love to see your approach in the comments. In case you want to check my other reactions, here you got a playlist full of them. And if you like what you see, you can always subscribe. And that's all for today. My name is Tony Whitburn, and I'll see you in the next one.